Hello there, welcome to my channel. I'm Helen of Helen Jeanne Designs and Hope-Filled Journals, and today I'm very excited to be sharing with you a new project. I've been participating in the A to Z of Christmas craft, and I've gotten all excited about making new Christmas crafts. This is not my day, so this is just an extra video just to keep you up to date on some of the things that I've been working on. And I also want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel. I have reached a milestone at 500 subscribers. So in a couple weeks I will be doing a little giveaway. I'm going to combine it with a Christmas giveaway and also a celebration of the end of the A to Z of Christmas craft. So it's going to be during the first week of December. It'll be after Rachel gives away the wonderful journal that she's making on December 1st. My day for A to Z of Christmas craft is November 30th. So I hope you'll hit the notifications bell so that you can be notified, or maybe mark it on your calendar, because I would love for you to tune in and join me for my craft for the collaboration of A to Z of Christmas craft. And today I wanted to share with you something that I have been wanting to do and I'm very excited about. I've been trying to figure out how to do something for the Advent wreath. Many people all over the world during the Christmas season celebrate Advent. One of the things we do is we use an Advent wreath, and the season of Advent is the 4 Sundays before Christmas, and this year it will be on November 28th, which is in America here is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So I watched a video from Ellie of Periwinkle Matilda Journals, and she's been a part of our collaboration. And this wasn't her day, but it was another video that she did, and she made this little flip out book. Now I know many people do it, but I'm going to link her video in case you want to see what she made. But I thought, while I was watching this, I thought that would be a perfect way to do an Advent wreath flip out book that can be used for the lighting of the candles. The point of this book is to keep it nearby your wreath. If you have an Advent wreath, it is a wreath. It can be almost anything. It doesn't have to have greenery, but it will have 4 candles, and people use different colors. We do 3 pinks and 1 purple, and this one doesn't show it here, but we have a white candle in the center, which is the Christ candle that will be lit on Christmas Eve. What we do in our home is we light the candle, one for each Sunday, and I'll go over that a little bit when I talk about the book, but we read a passage of scripture and sometimes go over a hymn. So this ties around and it opens up, and then I just have on the cover Advent, light the candles. And the first Sunday of Advent, symbolizes, the candle symbolizes, we call it the candle of hope. And like I said, people have different ways of doing this, but it's also referred to as the prophecy candle or the candle of hope. And so I have on this little card, we would read Isaiah 9:2-7. And then on the back, there's a hymn that is Come Thou Long Expected Jesus. So we would either read or sing that hymn. And it goes into the little tuck spot here. And then we flip it open. And the second Sunday is the candle of faith, or we refer to it as the Bethlehem candle. And we would read Micah 5:2-5 and Luke 2:4-7. And then the hymn on the back is O Come, Emmanuel. So that would be signifying the candle of faith. And we've got Joseph and Mary on their way to Bethlehem. And the third Sunday is the candle of joy, or the shepherd's candle. So we would light the third candle in the wreath, and we would actually light all 3 candles. And it would be also the candle of joy, Luke 2:8-20. And then the hymn would be Joy to the World. So that's what we do. And then the 4th Sunday would be the candle of peace, or sometimes referred to as the angel's candle. And these are the passages we would read. And then the hymn for this is Angels We Have Heard on High. So there's one more candle. The candle in the center would be the Christ candle. And we would do this on Christmas Eve. And, I'm sorry. We would do this on Christmas Eve. I didn't have room on this particular page for, it didn't have a tuck spot. What I was thinking about doing was maybe doing 5, but I decided to stick with the 4, and I just put a little pocket on the back. And the Christ candle, fulfillment of all prophecy, and we would read John 1:14, and then the hymn would be, O Come All Ye Faithful. So like I said, people do it differently. There's different passages of scripture. But what I did is I wanted to make one of these, and so I just put together what we would do. And if you're interested in making one for yourself, you don't have to use what I did. You can just go buy the little the pull-out booklet, and it's made with envelopes, so it's very simple, and there's few supplies. But what I did do is I put together this kit, and it will be available either in my Etsy shop, or it is available in both my Etsy shop and my website. It has various backing papers and all the things that I just showed you. So I'm going to make another one of these just so that you can see my process. And so I'll get started on that. Now for this booklet, I used 4 envelopes, and you can use any size envelopes depending on how big you want to make it. But my envelopes are 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 inches. I want to be able to open the booklet so that when I open it up, I've got the first Sunday as my first thing. I went back and forth. At first I had it this direction, but then I would have had to flip it all the way open. So I decided to do it this way with this little flap, so that the first Sunday is as soon as you open it up. So I have my envelopes here. So we'll go through the steps. I'm going to score these just about 1/4 of an inch here. I could fold them, but I'm going to go ahead and use my scoreboard just to score that, because you want to be able to have room for this little binding here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how we glue them together. Okay, I went ahead and put the score marks on my envelopes, as you can see, and you could just fold them, but it is a little bit easier if you have a scoreboard. So I just want to make sure that they're nice and tight. So I think they're okay. I'll do them as I go along. I was going to try, my goal was to try to do this video a little bit quicker than what I normally do. So these are actually just going to be glued to each other like that, so that in the end I'll be able to have this flap as my closure. Like this right here. So this is gonna kind of be my guide here. I'll glue the first couple together here so that you can see what we're doing. Now I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac glue because I want to use a durable glue for this part just so that they stay together. And I could use the white glue, but it takes a little bit longer to dry. So I'm going to put the glue on the inside here. Now I'm going to go through, you want to make sure everything's straight and neat and tidy. Make sure that when I'm gluing, as I fold it over, nothing sticks together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest. It's going to be done the same way. You're going to actually glue to the score mark. Okay, so it's all glued, and I can check and see to make sure that it folds, which it does. So the next step of what I'm going to do is I have my papers all cut out already to save time. And in this booklet, the first booklet that I made, for the backing papers, I used scrapbooking paper. I had this kit from Echo Park that had some nice Christmas papers. So you could use scrapbooking paper or you can use printables. So I thought for this one I would use some pages from the printable kit that I made. And I have 4 of the red polka dots and 4 of these stripes. So I just need to figure out which ones I want on the inside. You could do every other one, but what I'm going to do is do one pattern on the inside like I did on the other booklet and one on the outside. And what I did is I cut these out and then I used my corner trimmer. This is the corner trimmer that I used. And so just to kind of give the edges a little bit of a cleaner look. And then I did use some of Distress Oxide around the edges because I wanted this booklet to have a vintage feel to it. Kind of, you could do it without a vintage design, but I thought just for the Advent, it just seemed like it would be nice to have it kind of have a vintage look. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the pages on the outside first, and then the inside, once we do that, I'm going to put the little half circle so that we can reach in for the pocket. So the envelope itself is going to be the pocket. So I just need to decide which one I want on the outside and which I want on the inside. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put the stripes on the outside and the polka dots on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these off the video. Just basically what I'm going to do is flip it over, and then I'm going to glue 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got four striped pages on the back. So I'm going to I'm just going to use this Fabri-Tac glue. You could use a glue stick. For a lot of the things I like to use the glue stick. Well, actually, I think I might use the glue stick for these just to save, because this is a lot more expensive glue. So I'm going to use my glue stick, and I am going to just glue each one of these on. Okay, so they're all glued on, and this is going to be my back side, and this is going to be the side with the pockets. So I have the polka dots, and I went ahead and I measured halfway, and I just put a little dot with a pencil because I want to make sure I make my little half circle in the center. So I have this circle punch that I used, and I'm going to go halfway to make the half circle. So basically what I'm going to do is I have my little dot here that shows me halfway, and I'm just going to line it up on this. And it doesn't have to be exact, but it does look nice if it's pretty lined up. So again, it may not be exact, but I want to get it as close as I can. And then I just have this little punch. So it makes a little half a circle. And I like to take my little Distress Oxide just to kind of ink it up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I glue it on, and then I'll go through and I'll do the same for the rest of them. So I want it to go on to cover this side to make my pocket, but I don't want to glue the pocket shut. So I'm going to put my glue on this part of the envelope. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of, use a glue stick for some of it. And then I'm going to finish off with my Fabri-Tac. There's other kinds of glue that many people use. I just don't have them. Most of the times I just use the tacky glue or the Elmer's glue. This Fabri-Tac is wonderful for actually gluing fabric and trims. But so I want this to stick, but I don't want to use too much glue. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up here. And it doesn't have to be exact, but get it as close as possible. Okay, so they're all glued on, and I'm just going to take my bone folder and just make sure that nothing is glued shut. Sometimes you get a little glue in there, and if it shuts, then the little tags won't fit in there. There we go. So it's all glued and all open and clear. Now I already have all my little cards. I cut them out ahead of time, and the hymns are going to be glued on the back. The first one is the prophecy candle, the candle of hope. I'm going to use the hymn, Come Thou Long Expected Jesus. So what I'm going to do is just glue it onto the back. Just put a little glue all over it and stick it on the back. So basically with this kit there's a lot of cutting and gluing, but it took me a while to actually come up with the ideas for the kit and to design all of the things, cards, and had this idea and I wanted to do it. And then I started thinking and making it, and then I realized, oh, I need to find some pictures. I need to find some public domain pictures that I can use for the nativity and the hymns, and what do I do about that? And then I need some papers to design. So it took me a little while to put it together, but I hope if you're interested, you can purchase your own either through my Etsy or on my website. And I am going to give you a coupon code, and during the month of December, you can get 40% off if you are interested in this in my Etsy shop. And that coupon code will be Advent 40. So if you are interested in purchasing the kit, you can go to my Etsy shop and use the code Advent 40 to receive 40% off. So I'm going to go through and make sure I have everything else glued and put together, and we'll start putting the whole thing together. Okay, so I have all of the hymns glued on the back of the cards, and I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do with the cards. I'll probably put them in at the end, but the first card is going to go in this first slot. So I'll just make sure it's going to slip in there, and it's got the little tab so that it can be pulled out, just like so. So that's going to go into the first one. And then I glued all of the hymns on the backs. O come, Emmanuel, on the Bethlehem candle, the candle of faith. And on the shepherd's candle, joy, I have joy to the world. And the angel's candle has angels we have heard on high. And the last one, the Christ candle, as I showed from the beginning, that's actually going to go in a pocket. But I do have "O come all ye faithful" on it. I didn't make it as big as the others because it's actually going to go in a little pocket. So I'm going to take this out while I finish gluing everything else on. So I have my pictures, and each of these is going to go here. Now, in the first one I made, I put a backing behind the pictures, and you can do that if you want. But for this one I had a busier background. I had the flowers, so I thought it needed a little something extra, so I put the paper behind it. But for this one, I'm just actually going to glue them onto the polka dots. And then I have this is for my corner pocket. I'll put that on in a minute. And this goes on the front. And then I have my words. I went ahead and cut out the words I was going to use. There's several different options. You can do what you want if you choose to use this kit. If you don't use the kit, you can make it however you want. You can use the pictures you want. You can write words. You can do whatever you want. This is just an idea for the Advent wreath. And then I have these coffee dyed paper if I decide I want to use backing for my words. And I also have some of these. I actually just cut out a bunch because I won't really know until I put it on if I want a backing on them. So I'm going to glue a couple of those up. I'm going to glue these on in this order. This one here, Glory to God in the Highest, is for the Christ candle. It's going to go on the back. And then the next page behind that is where I'm going to put my corner pocket. And I think I will actually go ahead and do the corner pocket right now so that I can show you how I do that rather than doing it off the video. So it has little tabs here, and you could use a scoring board or not, but I'm just going to actually just fold it. I've got a little line there, so I'm going to fold it along the line the best that I can. And I will use my bone folder to kind of make the crease a little stronger. And I'm going to cut this little part off at the end. Now this little pocket area, this is just so that the card will go in a little bit easier so that it's not flat up against the envelope, the paper. It just gives it a little bit more room to actually make it more like a pocket. So what I'm going to do is cut off my little edges here where it's over. Cut straight across. Now, a lot of this you can decorate up however you want. I didn't do any sewing. I'm pretty much just gluing. By the time I came up with the kit and decided to make it, I kind of ran out of time, but you could put little trim on here, make it all pretty. Could embellish these a little bit more. You could actually, before you put these on, you could actually sew these cards on there. That would look really nice. But for the sake of this video and everything right now, I am just going to do it plain and simple. So, but I will kind of antique this up a little bit. And now when I'm doing my gluing, which I'm going to do in a minute, this is going to go after, no, that's the wrong one. It's going to go after this one here, which I have for the Christ candle, which that one's going to go on the back. And this will go on the following one, so I'm going to put it in the corner. And this is where my card for the Christ candle is going to slip in the pocket there. So I'm going to go ahead and do all my gluing, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I glued all my pictures on, and I glued my pocket on. That's where this card is going to go. The Christ candle is going to go in there. Now, what I forgot to do is I need a piece to cover this side of the envelope. And I want it to be the polka dots because I don't want it to be the stripes. So what I'm going to do is I had this piece left over from when I cut out the pieces for the inside. So I'm just going to trace around this and cut a piece and glue it on here. And then I'm going to decide for my wording what I'm going to do on this one. I have the first Sunday. I would definitely want to put that, and I put Candle of Hope. The other thing I could do is I could put the Prophecy candle, but I think I'm going to do the Candle of Hope. But I've decided, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put First Sunday under here on all of them, the first, second. And then I think I'm going to do Candle of Hope at the top here. And I'm not going to do any other decorations. You can do that if you want. I want to make a few of these, so I'm going to just keep them simple. But it would be fun to take your time and actually add more embellishments. And maybe I might try one and actually sew the things on, because that always adds a lot to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece and glue it on. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do for my words so that I can show you what I'm going to do. And then I also need to do my cover. This is going to be my cover, which is actually back here. So I want to make it to where it doesn't cover the words when this flap closes. So I'll just probably glue it on the end. I need to decide if I want to put a backing piece here. I may do that. I'm not sure yet. To see once it comes together. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some glue here and put my paper on it and then cut around that. So I'm going to glue this all up here. I don't want to cross the line there like I just did, because I don't want it to stick together. Now for this side, I want a coordinating fabric, or excuse me, I want a coordinating paper. So since I have the dots there, I'm going to put the stripes on this side. So I want to line it up so that it doesn't, so that I can fold it over. So I'm going to, this is going to dry, so it'll be okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around it That'll be easier than trying to trace it and cut it. It gives it probably a little bit of a cleaner. My Christmas decorations are falling all over the place. Tried to make it look pretty for the video, but they tend to get in the way a little bit. So then what I'm going to do is cut around this, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other side, only I'm going to use the polka dots. So I'm going to finish cutting and figure out what I'm going to do for my words, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, so I have everything laid out here. My words, I've been thinking about trying to decide what I'm going to do. So I know I want to put the first, second, third, fourth Sundays on, and I'm going to use the candle of hope, faith, joy, peace, and Christ candle. And I went ahead and put a little backing paper, just a scrap paper, on the back of the Advent. And I also cut this is just a scrap paper from, was left over. I cut it out from, I think it was from my sample, the first sample that I made. So I'm going to glue this on here and then put it onto here with the word Advent. So I'll go ahead and glue that on. I'm just using the glue stick for this. Yeah, that's the same backing as there. I originally had the backing on the back of the cards. That's what I used for the back of the cards, and this was on the same sheet, so that's why it's got that on there. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to kind of glue it a little closer to the right side because of the flap that's going to go over it. I want to make sure there's enough room to read the words. So it's going to be off center a little bit. Sometimes that can drive you crazy, but for this it will serve the purpose. And again, this would look nice with some little embellishments or sewing it on here first, but like I said, I'm not doing any sewing on this. So I'm going to just figure out my flap here. So I'm going to kind of glue it close to the edge, and I was going to put it down. It's going to cover a little bit of the wreath here, but that's all right. So I'm going to glue it on there, and then I'm going to just put the word Advent under here. So I'll do that. And what I'm also going to do, actually I'll glue that off camera, is I'm going to go through and decide if I want a backing on my words. I've got coffee dyed paper. I might do that. I've got the blue here. So I'm going to go ahead and decide what I want on each one. I'm going to go ahead and glue it on. So I did all my gluing, and I have everything. I made all my decisions on my words. I decided to do the backing on that and the Advent. And then I decided to go more with the coffee dyed papers. This picture here is a manger scene without the baby Jesus, because it is still longing for the baby Jesus to come. So Advent actually means coming. So that's why in the first Sunday the manger is empty. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cards in. Got the candle of faith, second Sunday, third, fourth. But I'm going to go ahead and put my cards in. This last one, I've got the Christ candle, and it's got, "O come all ye faithful." So that's going to actually go in my pocket in the back here for Christmas Eve. And you just have to kind of work at it a little bit sometimes if it doesn't fit right. I think I need to use my bone folder and make sure I don't have any glue blocking that one. And so I'm going to go back to the beginning. I've got the prophecy candle, the candle of hope. Come thou long expected Jesus. That's going in my first pocket. Now sometimes these may stick a little, or if they don't fit right, you can trim them down a little bit, but they should be okay as long as you make them a little smaller than your envelopes. Bethlehem candle, the candle of faith. O come, Emmanuel. That goes in my second pocket. And the candle of joy, the shepherd's candle, joy to the world. That's going to go in my third pocket. And the angel's candle, the candle of peace, angels we have heard on high, and that's going to go in my fourth Sunday. Now this year Advent starts on November 28th, so I've got all that taken care of. I just need to do my closure. So I'm going to do like I did on the first book. I'm going to put a little eyelet here. And then I've got just the same string that I'm going to use. So I'm going to make it similar to that one. Now I put a little mark here just so that I can know about where to make my hole. And I've got my crocodile. If you don't have one of these, like I've said in my other videos, I use it quite a bit. So I'm going to use my 3/16 of an inch. And I'm just going to make a hole here. Hopefully that's about centered. Might not be perfect, but it should be okay. And somewhere here I've got a little eyelet. And I'm going to put that in the hole here. Use my crocodile. These eyelets you can use in so many different ways in journaling, and I've found that they're a lot of fun. So I'm going to got my just basic twine here. You could use ribbon. You could use all kinds of things. You could use silk ribbon. I made my string pretty long, so I'm just going to tie my knot. Probably tie a couple knots just to make sure it's secure. Again, this little booklet was a lot of fun. It took a lot of thought, but I really enjoyed coming up with the ideas and making the little booklet. The project itself is not difficult, and it's using 4 envelopes, so it doesn't take a lot of supplies. But it's kind of nice because it's something you could use year after year if you do an Advent wreath. Actually, I didn't tie that very well. I'm going to cut off the edges. But there you have it, a little Advent booklet. These would make great gifts. You got all the pockets, all the verses, just gives you something to go by. Again, Advent 40 if you're interested in this kit, or you could just make your own. Honestly, you can just type up some verses, put it on a little card and put it in the pockets. There's many uses for this type of folder, but you get the idea. And I hope that if you decide to make one, that you'll tag me in a photo, because I'd really love to see it and see everybody's creative ideas. Don't forget to tune in for the A to Z of Christmas craft. And if you haven't already, go back and watch some of the videos. There's a lot of fun crafts. And tune in for the giveaway at Rach and Bella Crafts on December 1st. And again, my video is going to be on November 30th, and I will also be doing a giveaway the first week of December. So I hope you'll keep watching, hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the bell so that you can be notified of future videos. And I hope you will have a great day. Happy crafting and happy journaling. Talk to you later.